And now we come to managing our purchase order, which is all done from this screen. It's relatively straightforward. We can see the items which are ordered down on the left-hand side. We can see the quantity and we can see the quantity allocated. So quantity allocated is to which sales order those items have been allocated. Now this is just a one-to-one. So all of this is for sales order Z4758, and that's shown up in the supplier reference in the top right-hand side. We see the retail price and also the usual cost price. Now for some reason, I'm going to go with user error. A cost price has not actually been entered against the L-shaped corner group. The problem with that is that when we come to our reporting, we're going to have a real problem, as that won't allow us to have our profit margin reporting. So let's just pop in that should have been 1100 or 1000. And for this, maybe we've got a slight discount, so we'll just update that one at the same time. There we go. So we can see we've got a discount on the second item, and the first item is going to cost us £1,000. We could also apply a discount across the whole purchase order if we wanted. We can use that box over on the right hand side. And just scrolling a little bit further down, we can also see a few other notes just talking about, okay, this is customer order, it's this item, this is where it's coming from, and we can add comments to any of those if there are any problems, if customers changing their minds or whatever reason, we can make notes here. Up at the top, this is how we're actually going to order it from the supplier, so we can add supplier instructions. So maybe we've agreed delivery before Christmas. And over on the right hand side, we can enter a delivery cost if we know what that is. We can we then have date submitted and date due. So those are kind of pre-filled at this point. And what we're going to do is we can either print this, and that will give you a PDF which you can handle however you wish, or you can just send this as an email. Now that will have the PDF attached to it. So we can do that, or we can just mark it as submitted if you've handled it by phone or used one of their supplier portals. Now, as soon as we've done that, that date submitted is going to be locked down, and the date due is going to be auto-filled based on the lead time of the items. Now, this is then going to come up in an acknowledgement list. So for every single supplier, we have a list of how long it will take them to acknowledge a purchase order. Now, if you know that some suppliers never will, that could be 100 days, 1,000 days. But for some, they'll always acknowledge within 24 hours or a week. They'll then go into a list which is overdue acknowledgement. And all of that is just accessed via the main purchase order screen. We can come down and we can view all Akili orders which are currently overdue acknowledgement. Now, we know that the one we've just done will not yet be overdue, but the point is that we're going to be able to catch anything that the suppliers have missed. And this shows up in your reporting, in your tracking, so that you aren't having to deal with a customer 10 weeks down the line where the supplier hasn't acknowledged that purchase order, and therefore it hasn't gone into manufacturing, and all you can do is you can deal with compensation and cancellation. And that's the thing that the system shouldn't let happen. So we're giving you a safety net. So if I go back to my submitted purchase order, we can just manually mark this as acknowledged, or there's actually a link in the email which gets sent to them as well. And when we mark as acknowledged, if we want, we can come down and put an acknowledgement number against individual lines, and these can be different numbers if that needs to be the case. Now, from here, all we really need to be doing is managing the expected delivery date. Now, at the moment, it will just take as a generic date that lead time. So the lead time we're looking at here is roughly 90 days. And so it's not going to be due in until the end of May. But we can then come in here and we can adjust that and say, oh, actually, it's going to come in on the 1st of May. And we can update that and we can confirm that on all lines. So we have an expected date at the top, and then we have a confirmed delivery date per line. And what that means is we can actually come through here and say, oh, well, they've actually said that's going to come through today. For whatever reason, they've got that one immediately. The other one is still going to be May. We can have different times for each. And what this is going to do is this carries through to a logistics report, which then shows you what's going to be due into the warehouse on any given day. So this calendar will be nice and full. It'll show your warehouse, it'll show all the suppliers, all the deliveries, and this is how many items are being delivered. So that's one item from Orlikili is coming in within that date range. And we can filter this to view different weeks. But through that process, you're able to manage your deliveries, schedule those in, and your warehouse is going to be able to look at this screen and know what's coming in at any given time. And then it's on to goods in.